Welcome back to the journey of coffee.
And it has been a journey.
It has been a journey lately. I feel like, to be honest, you and I haven't had too much time to sit down and actually talk to everyone about life lately.
No, hardly even each other.
Yeah, hardly even each other. It's been a bit hectic, I think, and the good part is we've both been traveling and adventuring separately, one together actually. We ended up in Seattle together, which was awesome, but we've kind of been going around the world and adventuring and just kind of taken away from life.
Yes, it has.
And now it's wintertime. It's kind of weird how you travel around and time just sort of never stops.
No, I would like it to, but it doesn't.
I always feel like there's a great John Mayer line from Stop This Train where he's telling his dad he wishes that the train would stop, but the reality is the train never stops.
No. And once you hit 25, the train goes faster.
Yeah, absolutely. Anyways, so the cool part about my travels, so I was probably the last travel, the first big travel was to Germany. So one of our mutual friends, Jen Elliott, she went and actually ran the Berlin Marathon.
She did.
Which was amazing. She was like the 6th fastest Canadian woman, which just seems, I don't even know how to comprehend that actually. But as a side note, I actually just joined along on this adventure to Germany, my first time in Germany, and we saw Berlin where the marathon was, and then a couple of days in Munich for Oktoberfest, which is the original Oktoberfest, so if you ever want to go drink beer. You've been there.
I haven't been to Munich, I've been to Stuttgart.
And I was really impressed actually. The coffee scene in Berlin is, it's a very metropolitan city.
Yeah.
It's the third most visited city outside of London and Paris in Europe now. There's lots of people. I've realized it's very different than most of Germany, but the coffee scene itself is really cool. Lots of third wave coffee, lots of roasters, really cool hip shops, classic, couple shops, very open roasters in view, so you kind of get that cool roaster vibe. Other a bit more modern, a bit small, kind of those big cities where you have coffee shops jammed in like a tiny little slot. So I thought that was really neat. There was one really beautiful chain there that, again, it's I say chain loosely. I think there was 4 or 5 locations called The Barn.
Oh yes.
It was really, really, really beautiful spaces, like open wood, like blonde woods, things like that. And so I'd highly recommend checking out any of the Barn locations. There's a number.
Here's how much coffee is left from the barn.
Yeah, that's all gone. Fantastic place for coffee. So that's a cool place. There's lots of them, so you don't have too many. We'll put a link or something to the locations. That was really cool. There was a place called Five Elephant. I thought Five Elephant was really, really cool. I love the kind of the packaging here. Kind of different than the classic. Again, super, super tiny shop. Tile.
Was it just one location?
I think it was one location. It might be a couple. We only hit one location up. Really beautiful. I didn't even have my camera that day. We were on a run in Berlin, and we were actually running, just kind of doing a shakeout before the marathon. So ended up grabbing an espresso and leaving and grabbing some beans, and running around with beans is hilarious when you're like running through a city.
Yep.
It's like you got like Macarenas.
Yes, yeah.
So basically picture this. Oh, this one doesn't. Yeah. So anyways, that was really cool. And there was a couple other shops there, but I think if you were going to go, I definitely would suggest the Barn and Five Elephants. And there was one more, I forget. Anyways, Berlin's a really cool place for coffee, and they're doing it really well. And then went to Munich for a couple days and went to a couple of shops in Munich. The scene in Munich is obviously a smaller city. It's not quite as wild. The cool part about they have a cafe called Cafe Bla. So picked up this espresso, this Guatemalan, really cool little shop on the south side of Munich. Had like a Scandinavian vibe to it.
Oh, interesting.
I don't know why, but it just seemed to have something about it was very Scandinavian.
Like a French name.
Yeah, Café Bla. But really cool. They roast their own beans. And the neatest part about Munich, I would say, to be honest, I mentioned to you when I got back, was the museum in Munich, the Science and Tech Museum.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I think so. Either way, it's one of the largest, or if not the largest, science and tech history museum in all of Europe. Really, really cool. And inside of it, they actually have a coffee show, like a coffee exhibit. And so they have a local roaster there that's in-house, and they do flights, espressos, pour-overs, V60s. You can do espresso flights. So like if you're at like a bar and you do like a beer flight, you can do a flight of coffee. You could have coffee from different origins. So you could say like, I want all 4 espressos you guys have. I want a pour-over from here. I want an espresso from here. It was really, really neat. It's there if you're in Munich. It's I think there until the end of March.
Oh, perfect.
So you have a few months to actually go if you're in Germany. I would highly suggest doing it if you like coffee. If not, it's just kind of a cool way to actually see coffee. Like I think the journey of coffee that we've been on is pretty consistent with learning about machines, the history, cups, tasting notes, where they grow, altitudes. And so if you want like a super version of that in your face, this is the place to go.
And Munich's just lovely.
Yeah, it's Bavaria. I mean, it's unbelievable. I mean, I think we could do a whole episode just on German travel, which has nothing to do with this, but we could do it now that we've both been there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So great.
So I think Berlin and Munich, really cool experience, and have really enjoyed the coffees, and both places you can go to have good third wave coffee.
Yes. And just, I have a friend who lives in Berlin, and the places that he recommended included the Barn and Five Elephant.
Yeah, there you go.
So you went to the right places.
Yeah. A little Germany coffee tip.
Yeah.
I can't speak to anything else about Germany, but Berlin and Munich, definitely cool cities to see, and great coffee.
That's all you need.
Yeah. And then after Germany,
Yeah.
we took a bit of adventure.
Yeah, like a week later.
A week later, I got back from Germany, and we needed to catch up, I think, on a long weekend, and we actually went to Seattle,
We did.
which is the home of coffee.
The birthplace of American coffee, in my mind.
Yeah, I mean, it's
I don't know
got
if
the
that's true.
original Starbucks.
Yeah.
There's some crazy statistic of like 1,158 coffee
Oh,
shops in Seattle alone. I mean, they definitely love their coffee. There's lots of mom and pop coffee, though. There's lots of Seattle's Best, which I think was bought by Starbucks.
Yeah, they're owned by Starbucks. And
So
lots of like Pete's.
yeah, the Pete's coffee, lots of chain stuff. So I mean, I think that takes up a lot of these numbers. But we also knew that there was going to be some delicious coffee.
There was.
Yeah.
Seattle has a weird, I mean, we can get into it, but the cafes are odd.
What do you mean?
I found, usually when you go to a cafe somewhere, like I'm sure your experience, even here in Edmonton, my experience in Portland, is the cafes themselves are very neat and tidy.
Yeah.
I felt like Seattle was not neat and tidy. Like it seemed like everyone we went to, the storage closet was just stacked in the corner, kind of things.
Yeah, I could see that a bit. And there were
Like just kind of grungy for some reason.
yeah,
The coffee was delicious,
yeah,
but the cafes themselves were odd.
yeah. I brought back we did a coffee run one day.
Yeah.
Where did we start again?
Well, the first day we went to KEXP.
Yeah. KEXP was a really cool experience.
Yeah.
They have a La Marzocco store in there. It's the only La Marzocco store in the entire world. So it's a flagship store for them. The machines, it makes sense when you realize that there's like 1,000+ coffee shops in Seattle.
Yeah.
We actually even stumbled past the La Marzocco like repair shop.
Yeah,
And so that was, clearly they're doing a lot there, and that's a gold standard in many ways for espresso machines. And that was a really cool experience because they have monthly rotations at the residencies. Yeah. And so companies apply to actually tell their story, and then every month at that location, they actually have to change the drinks. They make signature drinks. They change the look of the place to the grower/roaster, and really try to tell that story.
It was amazing.
So there was one there when we went, little something bird.
There's a bird.
There's
It
a bird.
was from
North Carolina, South Carolina.
One of the Carolinas.
Yeah, really cool. Strong connection in Mexico.
Yeah.
So they had a lot of kind of Mexican roast, but then like ideas with chocolate and kind of that history. So really cool.
Yeah, it was great.
Yeah, it was neat. And it's in KEXP, which is really like the
Hipster's dream.
hipster's dream. I don't know, you said it to me, I think like if you worked there, you'd lose a lot of money having coffee here.
Yeah, I would have no money. I would not make any money.
Yeah.
And then we went somewhere else.
Yeah, I forget where we went next.
Oh, we went to find Dave Ma a lid.
Oh,
Or
yeah.
a coffee mug.
Yeah. And so we went to this little hipster bike / coffee /
Mirror, is that what it's called?
Mir. Yeah,
Yeah.
MIIR.
Yeah.
And they do coffee inside, which was great. And we got some suggestions there.
Yes.
And then we walked down the street to...
I don't remember.
So yeah, Mir. And then once we left Mir, they had suggested we walk maybe like 3 blocks, 4 blocks?
Yeah, it wasn't very far.
To a place called Milstead. We stopped for beer though.
Yeah. Before we got to
Before we got to there. So we'd have coffee, beer, coffee.
Yeah.
I think it was...
Taste yourselves. You know?
Yeah, it was a bit of an upper and a downer situation.
Yeah.
Milstead was really cool. I mean, it was in a brand new building, so it was your classic, super modern, like clean, new construction, just at the base of a building. So I don't think the shop itself, there was nothing remarkable about it. It was very busy.
Yeah, and from my memory, they didn't have any of their own brand of beans,
No,
correct? Yeah,
no.
they just had local. I think they had some from Utah.
Yeah.
And a couple from Seattle.
They had Kuma and things
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah, it was right down the street from the Fremont. Is it the Fremont Troll?
Fremont Troll, yeah. Just straight down the hill from the Fremont Troll. So if you're in Seattle and you're at the Troll, just walk straight down until basically the crossroad, and it's right there.
Yeah.
And I picked up a bag of camber there,
Right.
which is from Bellevue, Washington. So you know, we wanted to certainly that was the
Cross the bridge.
cross the bridge, and I turned that into a thing of cold brew that was really fantastic. So really, I mean, beautiful packaging on the camber. Again, don't have it. It's right here. And then we didn't grab anything else that day.
Nope, we didn't.
We were only there for 3 days, and the next day we woke up and continued to have just a copious, high-level amount of coffee. So, you know, we went to the Starbucks Reserve store,
Yes.
which I thought was very interesting.
Yeah, it's a whole experience.
Yeah,
They have like a bakery, they have a cocktail bar, they have shopping, they have a regular bar, like a coffee bar,
yeah,
and then the special
They have,
tasting
like,
bar.
yeah. Everything from clothes to food to
Christmas
pizza
ornaments.
to Christmas ornaments. Lots of single origin stuff. They have a tasting bar, which I think is really neat. It fits about 10 people, and you have to wait to get a spot to actually get served by it.
Yeah.
And we'd had an espresso flight. We had
Yeah.
a siphon flight.
Yeah, I would say most people drank this weird s'more.
Yeah, that was the drink of the moment.
Yeah, with marshmallows and graham crackers on top.
Yeah.
That was a lot.
I feel like you put too much shit in your coffee at some point.
That was that point.
And I think it was a cool experience. I'm glad. I mean, if you go to the original Starbucks in Seattle, it really is just a rundown store in Pikes, just beside Pikes. It's nothing special. There's a huge lineup, but it's not special.
No.
The Reserve store is, you know, sort of 2-story. You walk down. It's very beautiful. You can tell that they clearly put a lot of money in it.
Yeah.
And you have what they would think of their sort of single origin roasted custom beans from all over the world. And we really did try beans from all over the world.
Yeah, I think we kind of got one from every continent.
Yeah.
So like,
And again, the challenge with it was consistently average. I mean, I think we spent a lot of time drinking coffee in these small roasters that somehow are able to pull it out. And the machines at the Reserve store are fantastic.
Yeah.
It's such a process that they have down, they're clearly good at. But the coffee sort of the tasting notes, a few of them were there. Like you'd get a little bit.
like a little bit of black tea.
Yeah.
A little bit of blueberry.
Yeah. But
Really think about it.
yeah, you really had to think about it. I think we've been spoiled in this year of this journey to find coffee where it's like, yeah, this tastes like peach
Yes.
or strawberry or dark chocolate. Like it's really there. And I was a bit disappointed.
Yeah, I mean, in our hotel we had Seattle's best coffee, which it is not, in fact, Seattle's best. But I actually think that it was, this is terrible, but I think that one of our siphons was just as good. Maybe that's the wrong word to say. It was about level as Seattle's best.
Yeah.
It just wasn't, it just tasted like coffee from an office.
Yeah.
I'm really sorry, Starbucks.
I think
I
that's,
wanted to
yeah.
But I mean, it was cool because we got the siphon flight, so we watched them make our siphon. We had an espresso flight. Like it was cool.
And it's an experience for people.
Yeah.
Because I think we had both, I mean, we have siphons, we've done most of these things, if not, I'd probably say everything that they do there in a preparation, we've made it or have access to. So I think for us, it's, the idea of that's not new, but lots of people, especially things like the siphons,
no
were
idea
like,
that's a thing.
oh my God, what is this?
Like a science experiment.
Yeah. I think they were waiting for Bill Nye the Science Guy to pop out, right?
Yeah.
So, cool experience. Definitely worth it if you like coffee or if you've never seen that or you just want something different. There's better coffee though.
Yes. Like down the street.
There's like a million coffee shops.
Yeah, right in that same area. It's great.
Victrola, which is like you'll see online, there's lots there. We ended up walking in. I was getting a bit hangry. I was not prepared for a lineup. There's the thing about traveling and walking, which is lovely. It's the best way to see a city. But when you're walking and really surviving on coffee for a time being, once you've had too much coffee and all you're doing is walking,
you need to go find breakfast tacos.
You need to go find breakfast tacos. So we walked into Victrola and then left quite promptly on the way to get...
Which is not a testament to the cafe itself.
No.
It seemed great.
On our way to get tacos. But then on our way to get tacos, like a block later, we passed a place called Ghost Note.
Ghost Note.
Very...
Which was recommended to us at Mir the day before.
Yeah, you're right. And it was, again, very plain. I don't think they didn't really have it together in a way.
No, that was one of the ones especially. It was like a mop bucket and a mop sitting in the corner, and it just seemed very...
Really random collection of glasses. They were out of things that people wanted when they walked up, and so the coffee itself, it was a La Marzocco machine. They were having lots of fun with it. And we had an espresso, and I got some banana bread because I was hangry.
And I purchased this broadcast coffee from Nicaragua.
I'm excited for this one, especially because of the idea that it's apple and rhubarb pie. Yeah, I think that's going to be a great freaking coffee.
So this one is roasted in Seattle.
And I think broadcast, I love it. It was a cool package. It's kind of colors that you don't normally see. This blue and kind of goldy green brown kind of. I don't even know what color that is. But very, very beautiful. Yep. Coffee was fantastic there. I think they'd pulled that as the espresso shot we had.
I think so. It was good.
Super friendly, and they were nice, and it was a great little place.
It was.
And then the next day, I think that's all the coffee we had for that day.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Again, Seattle's very beautiful. It's super walk around. We had some amazing tacos there.
Everything was amazing.
Yeah, there were some great meals. Again, that's a whole other vlog about the food we had there, which was fantastic. And then on our way out of Seattle, we went to Elm Coffee Roasters, which was a couple blocks away. There's a bunch of stores of Elm Coffee, which I think is cool. We went to the one next to our hotel.
Yep.
And I grabbed an Ethiopian.
I grabbed a Colombian, a seasonal coffee.
Yeah. And it was really, I mean, it was a perfect little breakfast spot, I thought, in a sense of, I had the craziest almond croissant in the entire world that I felt like had so much almond paste in it that I was going to go into a diabetic coma.
Yeah. I had ham and cheese croissant.
Yeah.
And it was greasy and delicious.
And I loved, again, really simple store, but I loved the idea of like these menu items where you have an espresso and a latte, or an espresso and a flat white,
right? Yeah,
or a pour over and something else.
Yeah,
I love that they do that as an option.
Yeah.
Like, you want a cup of coffee and an espresso. Perfect. Well, you can have that there. And I realized that you could order that anywhere, but I found that Seattle especially was good on kind of knowing that people want to try the coffee.
Yeah, and always giving bubbly water, like a little glass of bubbly water with everything.
Yeah.
It's great.
That's down. I think Transcend tried that here for a long time, and I don't think they ever got the machine working because it would work and then not work. But I think if anyone does the bubbly water, even where did we go? Even at Mir, in a store, they actually just opened up a 2-liter of soda water and poured out that. So soda water, I love in between coffee because the bubbles, I think, help aerate your mouth and clear out the taste. And every single shop did it.
That's great.
So it was fantastic. And that was a bit of Seattle. So for me, I felt quite like coffee happy. I mean, Berlin, Munich, and then Seattle.
Yeah, it was. I mean, I only was part of Seattle, but it was great.
Yeah. I also feel like, I mean, I forgot to mention it, but I also feel like I was lucky because Jen Elliott, who came to Berlin, she went on to Croatia and...
No, she went to Prague.
No, Prague, sorry.
And Vienna.
Czech Republic, sorry. The Czech Republic. She went to Austria and the Czech Republic and brought back some coffee. So I haven't had this one yet, but it's I'm looking forward to that too. So.
All the coffee.
And then you disappeared.
And then I disappeared. Last week I went to Oregon. I went to Bend and to Portland. And I brought back some coffee.
What were you doing in the Oregons?
So another friend was running. Sarah Sabo was running a 50-mile in just outside of Redmond, which is just outside of Bend, at the Smith Rock State Park.
Sweet.
It's amazing. You should go there.
Nice.
We should go run it.
Yeah,
It's great.
absolutely. What'd you get?
So yeah, we stayed one night in Redmond, one night in Bend, and then went to Portland. So you kindly had sent me some coffee recommendations for Bend. So we actually, at the beginning of Sarah's race, they had backyard roasters in big carafes there.
Oh.
So once the racers went, we thought they don't need coffee, we might as well drink some. So we had a cup, and it was like drinking molasses. It was so thick and syrupy and strong that, yeah.
Like they just made really strong coffee?
I don't know, but as soon as I tried that, I thought, I don't need to go there anymore. It was, yeah, strong. It would wake you up.
The roaster was called Backyard Roaster?
Yeah, backyard.
Oh, okay. All
Back
right.
porch, maybe.
Okay.
Well, it's somewhere back
Yeah.
there. But yeah, it would definitely get you ready for a 50-mile, but it was, yeah, it was intense. So we went to town a few times in Bend and visited Thump, which was delicious. I think I had an Americano there.
This is all new to me. I haven't seen these.
Oh yeah, I guess so.
Yeah.
I got in Ethiopia. I've started purchasing my coffee based on the flavor profiles of things that I find interesting or unique.
Yeah.
So I have discovered that I really like black tea in my coffee.
Yeah.
So this one was...
To be honest, bergamot goes right in hand in hand with the black tea. Lime seems very interesting.
Yeah, so I'm curious. I think that there's also a roaster of Thump in Colorado somewhere, Denver maybe.
Yeah.
But it was a really great little place. They had really, in hindsight, I should have bought a mug. They had really great merchandise.
Maybe we can look online.
Maybe.
I like that they say best used when French press, Chemex, espresso, pour over, AeroPress.
Yeah, don't use your shitty coffee maker.
Don't use your shitty coffee maker.
So
That's cool.
Yep, so that was the one in Bend. I think there's one, oh, we also, I did not buy coffee from there. We went to Megaphone, which was in this amazing, really open, bright little cafe. It was also called a beer club. So half of it was beer and half of it was coffee.
That seems very Portlandish to me.
Yes, and it was white, and it almost seemed like we were in like Arizona or like Palm Springs or something. It was like big cactuses in the corner. It was wonderful. So I had an espresso and a cold brew there, which were both really good. And another friend got a like vanilla and hazelnut latte or something, and it's actually very delicious.
Nice.
So that was Bend, and then in Portland, when traveling with 3 other people, there's just so many things to do and so many things. So, I mean, we didn't drink as much coffee as I anticipated, but we did go to some pretty great places.
I do feel like when you and I travel, we do have a hard coffee, experience because we both love it.
Yes.
I don't think most people want to go to 3 coffee shops in a row.
No.
But you should.
You should. So one of the places we went was Hart. So we were actually having lunch at 5 o'clock down the street at Lardo, and we realized that we had about 20 minutes to get to Hart before it closed. So Jen and I ran over there to get some coffee. I had an espresso at 5 o'clock, which is a really great idea. And I've had Hart before here.
Yeah.
I think Faro carries it, I believe.
Yep.
So it's always been really
And they've been around for a long time. The Great Roaster.
Yeah.
I think a friend had brought back Hearts, and then in the coffee scene here, people had been bringing their beans back for a long time. Like they do a good coffee. That Ethiopian sounds good.
Yeah.
I mean, this Guatemalan nectarine, marzipan, and golden raspberry. I mean, these are.
Yeah, it took us a long time to decide which ones to buy because.
Wait, Tenango. I've been there. In Guatemala.
But yeah, the cafe we went to, I think there's more than one location.
Yeah.
So we were kind of right downtown, and it was beautiful. They were cleaning up, which made us feel bad for going in there and asking them to make us something, but it was great. And then the next day we went to Kova.
Kova, yeah.
So the reason I went here, and specifically this location, because I think there's 3 of them, maybe 2 or 3 of them, is if you ever watch comedians in cars getting coffee, this is the one that Fred Armisen takes Jerry Seinfeld to.
Which is hilarious because there's a timer in that episode for some reason. There's something funny in that episode where they tick off every time something happens.
Maybe.
But it's a great episode.
It's a very confusing place, this specific location. It's very, very open, and there's like 3 tables, and then in the corner there's a guy who makes bamboo like furniture and carry-on luggage and travel mugs. So like half of it's a store, and you can't use that table, and it has a bench, but it's confusing.
Yeah.
But it's beautiful, and they know what they're doing, and it's great.
It's distinctly different packaging here.
Yeah, so this one's a limited.
Oh, okay. And this is their standard?
And that's just kind of a standard.
I feel like there's a lot going on with the Kova packaging.
There is. Yeah, it's got a lot of stuff. But I actually, I never order pour-overs at cafes for some reason. I just never do. I usually get Americanos. But I got a Chemex pour-over.
Oh, how was it?
It was really good. Actually, when we were driving away, one of the friends that we're with said, I would like to go back there tomorrow and get that exact same thing. But the one thing I did like is that they used metal filters. They had a stack of like probably 10 metal filters for their Chemex.
Like the Able Brewing ones?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, which obviously gives a very different flavor than the Able ones.
Yeah, I think that's such an interesting thing, especially when coffee is like those metal filters let those oils go through.
Yeah.
And so if you have your Chemex, your French press, you'll really notice when you pour your coffee out that you have that oily kind of sheen because of the oils that come out in the roasting process. And so when you have paper filters, your AeroPress, your standard kind of Chemex, those a lot of that's kind of collected.
Yeah.
And then I have an Able Brewing filter for my Chemex that I flip in between sometimes, and I find that you'll notice small differences if you did filter right away and then one of the metal ones.
Yeah. So that's all the coffee I bought.
We have a lot of coffee to drink. Yeah. I think it's an interesting thing when you go around the world now. I mean, if you really like coffee, there's places to find it. I think we're very lucky. I mean, Portland, obviously beer and coffee is huge there. I mean, the whole hipster world of, did you have donuts somewhere?
Yes, we had Blue Star donuts.
Of course you did.
Yeah, which are way better. I haven't actually had Voodoo donuts, but every local person from Portland,
shit talking.
Portlandians have said, skip Voodoo. Blue Star has better tasting donuts.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
I mean, you're not going to ever find bad coffee there. I mean, you obviously can go have shit coffee at a gas station, but I think the options in Portland are amazing. The options in Seattle are fantastic.
Yeah. And even somewhere like Bend, which has like 60 or 90,000 people, and they have like 4 or 5 coffee roasters, and it's just like, it's amazing.
Yeah.
The culture's so much better.
Yeah, I think it's such an interesting part of of society with like the coffee culture. And then Berlin and Munich were amazing. So I think like really lucked out.
Yeah.
We both did 2 trips and we got to share one.
Yeah.
I think Seattle, I mean, if you want, I would go back to Seattle with you in a heartbeat. I think that was such an experience from a coffee world, but I think Portland would be fun too. I mean, there's lots of places.
Yeah. I have learned to, maybe we could do a whole vlog on how to pack so that you leave room in your suitcase for 4 pounds of coffee.
Yeah, I think it's interesting that like we came back from Seattle.
Yeah.
And very short trip. The Customs Border Protection officers are like, "What are you doing?" But we had lots of coffee. Where? Tell me. And I proceeded to get into a story. I think most people talk very few words to a border patrol officer, but I was like, "Oh, we had coffee."
Yeah,
like,
we
where?
went to KEXP and we went to this really cool place down by the Starbucks place.
And I think at one point he was like, how much coffee are you bringing back? And we told him, and then he was like, do you guys like work in coffee, or is this like how you make money? And we were like, no, we're just like professional coffee drinkers.
Yeah.
None of this is being sold, and he would let us go on our way.
Yeah.
But I thought that was
After
quite
you
funny.
plugged the Journey of Coffee, and he
Yeah.
said, oh yeah, great, after work, I'll check that out.
So if you're the customs border officer that stopped us, and said that you'd check out our vlog,
Thank you.
thank you for letting us through with all the coffee.
Yeah. And traveler tip, put it in your checked baggage.
Yeah.
They always pull, even just 1 pound, they'll wonder what you're hiding.
Cocaine.
Yeah.
Yeah. Don't do cocaine, kids.
No.
On that note, let's go make some coffee.
Yeah, which one are we gonna choose?
I don't know. Let's make like 4 at the same time. Let's just open all the bags. Peace out, kids.
See ya.